So the Xerox studio is occupied right now.
All right.
But, this is the prod room, which would probably be best as far as like privacy, but
Sure.
this might be a cool shot too. But
Yeah.
Cool. And oh, come on, you get the water in here?
Oh, I'm good, thanks.
You have that same
chair.
soundboard at KCSC.
You want a third chair?
Sure.
I mean, I don't really need a chair, but
I've also been considering, there you go. Thanks for making time for us.
No problem. I'm glad we could do it during work hours, of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
Will it be just a single shot of me, or are you guys like, is it back and forth? Do you want to sit
No,
down?
we're out of it.
Yeah, we're out of it, and when we do the editing, we're gonna, as much as possible, we're gonna edit out. So it's just gonna be just you kind of
Right.
going off. We'll probably ask about half of them in this angle, and then we'll switch seats so we get a different angle for the other half of the questions or something.
Sounds good. Turn this off so we don't get any feedback.
So, if you want to just start with, like, you know, who you are, history of music in Chico, how long you've been here, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, my name is Jeremy Vitava. A lot of people call me V, and I moved here in 1996 to go to school, but I was actually playing in a band in Southern California that broke up, and half the band went to Santa Barbara, the other half went to Chico. Santa Barbara's a lot closer, so I spent like every other weekend partying in Santa Barbara, and it was awesome, but it was very similar to Southern California. Then I finally came up and visited the friends in Chico and just fell in love with it. You know, it's beautiful, but the music scene was awesome. Everybody was so friendly and receptive, and such a diverse music scene too. I think it was like the second day I was in Chico, I saw the Mother Hips play in the downtown city plaza, you know, in the old veranda or whatever, gazebo. But it was awesome. It was just such a great vibe, such a cool town. Santa Barbara's great too, and SoCal has its cool parts, but just kind of dove right into the music scene. And 96, there was definitely like a punk scene, but I sort of got involved with like the jam band hippie scene, you know, the Mother Hips, Puddle Junction, Electric Circus, Jorduga guys, you know, and then sort of fell into the Blue Room Theater shows. I started seeing a lot of those in the Wood Room punk rock shows, and they put on some really cool stuff, very diverse, very different from what I was, the jam band situation. But those were really cool shows, and just, I don't know, just seen it evolve over the years, and I think we still have a very eclectic mix of bands in and around Chico, and definitely have ups and downs, of course, like any scene, I think. But
how did you specifically get involved with the rock scene, like in your position here at Z-Rock and all that?
Well, I actually ended up getting a job at the Blue Room Theater as technical director. I worked there for like 5 years, and I did a lot of interviews for the plays that we'd been putting on. And one such place, KPAY, the news talk station, I did several interviews there, and the two guys, we had a really good rapport, and they just said, you seem really comfortable on a mic, you got a great voice, great personality, you ever think about doing radio? And I said, yeah, all the time. Who do I talk to about a job? And they said, talk to Linda, third door down the hall, and I went and talked to Linda Fitzgerald, and then I talked to a couple other people, and they hired me like the next week. I was just like a board op, and did Friday nights and Sunday mornings on KHSL before it was the Blaze. So I got in country, actually, did the country thing for like a year, and then I met Dane Sandoval, who was program director at Z-Rock, and got actually corporate cutbacks. I just got laid off from that first position. I came in here and talked to Dane and Ron Woodward. That was about 13 years ago, and got hired here immediately, and board op Mark and Brian for about 4 months until I got the morning show on Z-Rock, and did that for about 4 or 5 years. And I played it all. I started playing punk rock, and to me it turned out like fast was easy, and then I got to Chico and I started playing in a folk band, and then I played the Soul Miners with Sherry Quammen, and then a country band, seeing double. Man, slowing down is a little bit harder. It's not, just straightforward, fast. See how fast you can go. It's like I actually have to slow down and hit the offbeats, and so I learned a lot, playing different types of music. And It's been great though. And then, you know, even with Z-Rock though, we have our local segment, The Money Shot, and it's not really about rock music. It's about local music, as long as it's a quality recording, and ideally you're a gigging band. You know, I've had people, and I like to say it's the dude in his sweatpants living in his mom's basement that makes all the music by himself, and that's great. We need artists like that, but it's like, are you out there? Are you putting your music out there, or are you just recording it? So I really like to try to support, you know, not necessarily touring bands, but just gigging bands, bands that are active. Because I have songs from when I was 18. It doesn't mean I'm going to play them just because I'm local. I'm going to, you know, try to get the new, fresh stuff out there.
It feels like in your position, you've had an opportunity, you know, working for a bigger radio station, well known, to be a liaison for local music to this place that may seem like unreachable to a lot of local artists. What was the inspiration for playing that role?
Well, I mean, I've been in several bands, but I booked the Music Monday nights at Normal Street Bar for a couple of years, and then I booked LaSalle's for like 3.5, 4 years, and I think, and there was a local show here back in the day. There was Destined to Fail. Dane had that show, and but it was like one night a week, and it was like an hour, but it was all a bunch of different local bands, and then there was I think Randall might have done. NorCal Noise or some, he had a different name for it, but some local segment. Anyway, when I came back to Z-Rock, there was no local segment, and I just talked to our operations manager, Robert Benjamin, about, you know, let's get the local support out there, and we just devised this plan. Rather than one show, one night a week, where you play all these different bands, let's just do it every weeknight, and it's more of a promotional tool, and it's, you know, 5 different bands every week, and I pick them, honestly. I do my homework. I check online and stuff, Chico List and Facebook, of course, and but I really like when bands contact me, because most of them get such a thrill out of it, and yet I don't hear from them until I tell them, hey, I've got you on the Money Shot tonight. They're like, really? Awesome. Like, well, why didn't you send me an email? I'm sitting here doing all the homework, but it's cool, and I actually just today added in, since we started the Money Shot. Now, there's older local bands that are still in our library, but I think we started the Money Shot in like 2012, and I just added my 250th song this morning, a new Ave Grave song, which I'm digging, Sean from the Shimmies, and we've probably, maybe bands like Surrogate and the Shimmies, there's probably 4 or 5 bands. Armed for Apocalypse, they have like 4 or 5 songs, but otherwise, I'd say there's at least 100 different bands, you know, probably a few more than 100, and then each band has 1 or 2 songs.
In particular, wanted to talk to you as kind of an ambassador and figurehead for the rock genre in Chico. Like, what are some things that people who don't know should know about the rock scene?
Well, I don't know, that's a pretty wide scene if you ask me, because like I just mentioned, the Shimmies, Surrogate, and Armed for Apocalypse, those are 3 bands that love to play together, but they're pretty diverse, pretty different style of bands. So, and, you know, I really don't like to pigeonhole people, but I'd say the rock scene is really strong. Some of these bands that I play on the Money Shot are really talented bands, and often it comes up like, wow, maybe we should put them into rotation, but then it's really difficult when I got, you know, 100 different bands in the library. How do we pick and choose just 1 or 2 that we think should be in rotation? So it comes up every once in a while, but, you know, again, I love rock and roll, but I love classic rock. I like hip hop. I like rap. I really like everything, and I can see, you know, the good parts of all different types of music. And so I'm definitely not just a rock guy. As far as music, I've done like 5 different formats, from country to top 40 to hard rock and classic rock. And, so I don't know if I answered your question, but
that's fine. So what do you think are some of the contributing factors to Chico's music scene? Why do we have it?
I think it's more or less the community. Like there's very creative people that are drawn to Chico, whether it's musical oriented or theater, or just, you know, just artistic people, creative people. And I think, although it's really hard to make money in most cities, I think we have a really good support team here. You know, each band who puts their music out there, I think the bands are supportive of other bands. So ideally, it's a good community, and you get support from a lot of different people for all the diversity. But I don't know. I thought about that when I moved to Chico. Like, why are these people so cool? Why is this town so creative? And I mean, I came from Orange County, and there's a lot of talent down there, but it's just so spread out and so many people. And I was much younger then, so I wasn't gigging. Well, I was gigging, but I wasn't actively, seeing as many shows as I have since moving to Chico. And in Chico, there were, and there still are, a lot of different venues, and God love the local venues for supporting local music, and especially those that really take care of their artists. A drink tab is nice, but people have to pay for their equipment. Drumsticks and strings cost money. So I don't really know what makes it. It's just a special place, and just creative people supporting other creative types, and like I said, there's ebbs and flows, and hopefully we just keep the creative passion behind it and try to support it.
As far as the peaks that's in the time that you've been here, what are some experiences, stories, shows you went to that were like, this is the peak of music right now? It felt good.
Oh man, and like seeing the Imps back in the day at the Blue Room, or at Hey Juan's was awesome. They were basically the house band there. But then seeing the Mother Hips in the Central Park, before it was the Concrete Jungle, was really awesome, and such a diverse crowd for those concerts. And it's still like that on Friday nights and stuff, where they have the concerts. You get all different types of people there for all different genres of music. But it would just be more like snapshots of bands. I remember seeing this band and that band, and gigging. It's a lot of fun. I played the Wairika Country Fair once, and that was an experience. But it was great. I played with some really talented people, and just those experiences are what make you who you are, and help you build off of that and become a better musician. Or and it definitely helps with my ear for music too. I think I'd like to think that I have an ear for it, but I don't know. Sort of.
Okay. Let's see here.
Now I'm trying to think of all the shows I've seen in 15 years.
Yeah. What was the next question I had on the tip of my tongue here? What would you like to see more of from local acts, and maybe less of? Is there constructive criticism there?
The first thing that pops into my head, and it's a difficult thing, everybody wants to gig, everyone wants to play gigs, and they want people to come and watch them play. And I think Chico List sort of helps, and I am not affiliated with Chico List, but I think it helps people, it's a quick website you can check to see who's playing. But the one problem is, with so many bands and all these different venues, is when you have one night where there's just 5 or 4 epic shows, and it's like, I want to go to that one, but I got to go to this one, and my buddy's playing in this one. So, and it's really hard to do, but I think in this city we have a better chance of doing it than, some bigger cities in the Bay or SoCal, where we could somehow communicate when our gigs are, so that we don't have 6 gigs every Friday night or every Saturday night. But then again, that goes to show the diversity and how much creativity and awesomeness there is here in town. There's good gigs like every night. But it's a bummer sometimes, I'm sure you've had it happen where you book a gig and you're stoked and you're just about to promote it, and you see this other bill that has like 4 huge bands, and you're like, I'd rather be at that show.
Than
Hate to say it, guys. Can we just tag ourselves onto their show?
Yeah.
But it's not really a complaint. It happens, but I would say just send me your music. That's one thing. It's not a complaint either. It's just a lot of bands don't really put forth the effort. Some of them, maybe they're not necessarily gigging bands. They just like the art of making music and recording music. But really, to me, it's all about live performance. We get a lot of music here at the station. We have 4 different stations here, and get a lot of music on the national level. And then it's just, you have to put your music out there if you want people to hear it. And so just promoting yourself, and let me help you is what I'd say.
Do you feel as though Chico's fertile soil, for like, for instance, Dale Price mentioned that this is a great place to learn your chops?
Yeah, definitely. That definitely happened with me. I had already played drums before I moved to Chico, but playing the different genres. I had never played country or folk before I moved to Chico. And like I said, slowing it down, it was like, wow, this is actually, this is a challenge for me because I'm so used to just going hard and fast and just playing that punk beat. But also just the diversity in the music culture, whether you're playing it or just listening to it and watching it, and it all helps. But that also helps, seeing the live music and the performance aspect. Because I don't know about you, but like I've watched so many drummers sing. Not so many, but when I see that, I'm just amazed because I could never do that. I feel like I could kind of sing and I can kind of play drums. And then just recently, a couple years ago, with Motown Filthy, I started, they allowed me to have a mic. And I started, trying to sing and play, and I kind of figured it out. It's just limited backups. When I see a front man on drums, I'm pretty amazed by it. And the same goes for a guitarist, though, too. Someone who can do both at once. That's pretty amazing. And male or female, you strap a guitar on them or put sticks in their hands, and they're instantly 10 times sexier. It's just it's amazing when you're good at what you do, and you got to have that connection with the crowd. Then again, there's those like shoegaze bands that look really shy and timid, but they fucking rock. It's just like, whoa, where did that come from? So it's all everybody's personality. It doesn't mean you have to be all smiles on stage, but as long as you can play, then that's, we want to hear it.
Yeah. What are some local artists, there's a lot of talent, but what are some local artists that you just like, wow, you are really good. And the time you've been here, maybe they're not here anymore,
yeah.
But
there's been a lot of them, and I'm going to leave several people out, but, there's people like, and I've already mentioned Lish Bills, or I mentioned Surrogate, the Shimmies, Arm for Apocalypse, but then you look at those bands, and inside that you have Kurt from Arm for Apocalypse and Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy, who does Lish Bills, this solo acoustic thing. You see what he does with Arm for Apocalypse, with all these riffs and just screaming, and then he slows it down, and he's got this beautiful voice, and I love his collaborations with like Aaron Lizardo, and then there's Sean of the Shimmies, who's got Ave Grave, and his brother Jimmy. They just little offshoot side projects with just so much talent. The songwriting is there. Of course, then how could I not mention Daniel Taylor, who plays like every instrument. What a jerk. But I've seen him play for years, and bands that have come and gone, but I love when there's certain key players like Kirk and Core from A for A were in Brain in a Cage, and